Hi, Ashley Whiting. So I thought I'd give you an update on the garden, how it's doing this winter. It's January 1st, 2020, New Year's Day, and it's a nice overcast day, and I wanted to get out here because I have some things that I need to pick and get inside, like some cauliflower and some broccoli that are actually flowering. So, which is surprising because it's freezing out here, but I think we had a few warm days and that broccoli is past time to pick. So I just kind of wanted to show you how my winter garden did and come check it out. So in this bed right here is where I have planted arugula, collards, chard, mustard greens, and I planted them as starts, and they were about that big when I first put them in, and I planted those early fall, mid-fall. They are awesome. We've been eating on them all winter long, so they would be even bigger, but we've been eating on them. I did go through about 3 weeks ago and plant seeds of the same things in front of them so that once these plants are expired, they're no longer giving me really delicious leaves. We'll have the young ones coming up. So let me show you what I've got. I even actually have, I think, a little random cauliflower in there somehow. Let me show you what we have. So here is the arugula. I like arugula okay. Some of my family members like it more than others, but this plant has done amazing through the winter. It's been great. This is the Swiss chard, by far my favorite of the winter vegetables. Swiss chard is delicious. Oh my gosh, it's even kind of salty. If you've never had it and you've never grown it, definitely it is a winner. Plant it in your garden in the winter if you're in a mild climate, or I believe it's probably a spring-fall crop in colder areas. And right here we have collards, and this is called flash, and this is also delicious. It's not bitter, it's not hot, and I like it a lot in a stir fry with some garlic and some balsamic. Delicious, and some olive oil. This is beautiful, but it is mustard greens with a little broccoli. For some reason, I have a broccoli stuck in there. I'm just gonna leave that, but I have mustard greens. But look how pretty this leaf is. I would totally plant this in my landscape, in a flower bed next year in the winter. It's beautiful, but they don't taste good. I do not like mustard greens. They're way too hot, but maybe somebody has a good recipe for me. And maybe I just haven't found the right thing. Okay, right along the front here is where, and I have these ropes up here because it's where I plant my peas and vines that need, plants that need to grow up a vine. And I just never took them off because it's almost time to plant peas. But yeah, so right here I have more arugula, I have Swiss chard right here, and then I have some more collards growing. They're growing great. And then I have some radishes actually right here, and some nasturtiums, which I cannot seem to get to grow here in Texas. So I'm giving it another shot, and they are growing, but I think as soon as it hits some warm weather, they just phase out. So that's this bed. It's looking awesome, and this has provided a ton of delicious food for us this winter. So this is the bed where I have a ton of beets. I have Early Wonder and Detroit Dark Red. I believe those are the only varieties. Yeah, and then I also have two full rows of more Swiss chard. And I believe it's the neon lights. Oh, this is Celebration, and the one over there is the neon lights. And I have loved the Swiss chard this winter. I can't get enough. I come out here every morning after I go running and just eat like 3 or 4 leaves just to get some nutrition. You don't need any butter, you don't need any salt. They're pretty salty themselves. The texture is delicious. I love Swiss chard. It's a big joke in my family that I'm always eating Swiss chard. But anyways, I put it in everything. It's delicious as a lettuce substitute when your lettuce isn't up yet. But anyways, so my big Swiss chard plants are huge, but they, you know, we've been eating on them a long time, so I did plant about 3 or 4 weeks ago seeds of a ton of Swiss chard in here, and then I have beets. And I'm excited to show you those. None of those are very big yet, but I'm excited for those to grow big because I have some delicious recipes for beets. That's probably my second favorite thing in the winter garden. So let me go show you the next bed. Here in this bed I have some leftover leeks clear from the spring. So far we have pulled out probably 15 big leeks. Once in a while I'll come out here and get a couple small ones when I'm needing green onions and I don't have green onions big yet in my garden, and I think they're a great substitute for that. Then I have some garlic chives here, which has been great all winter long. These are also left over from the spring. And then all through this bed I have planted seeds of onions, green onions, more leeks, anything else? What else have I planted in here? Oh, sorrel over there, and dill. Planted some dill. Put in way too many seeds of dill, but I'll just have to thin that out. Okay, let's go to the next bed. This is my strawberry patch. This has been growing since, how long has it been? I put these strawberries in the early spring last year, so they've grown all through the spring, the summer, the fall, and now into the winter. And I did net these because my dogs would not leave the strawberries alone. So all I did was just have these PVC pipe hoops, and I just have this bird netting, and this is the only thing right now that I have netting over constantly, because honestly in the winter they're just surviving. They're not producing anything. They definitely need sun and moisture, but they don't need any thinning or anything like that. I'm not getting weeds in here, which is nice, because the strawberries are pretty thick. But I just have these clamps every once in a while here and here and here, and holding down the netting. Nothing fancy, but I'm hoping this spring we're gonna get a lot of strawberries. Strawberries usually take a couple seasons to start producing good strawberries. So I'm hoping it's an experiment, because here in Texas, again, this is kind of an experiment because I've never grown strawberries here, but hoping to get good results. This is my garden bed with cauliflower. I have at least 4 different varieties of cauliflower. This is called Graffiti, and it's a bright purple cauliflower. Then over here, I believe this is Snowball. Yeah, Snowball cauliflower. And then I also have a cauliflower called Cheddar over here, and it's bright orange. Let's see if I have any other varieties. Now this one's called Veronica, and it is not producing cauliflower yet. The leaves look great. It's a great big plant, and I'm just assuming it needs a little more warmth or just a little more time to maturity. So I hope it's just not a dud, but I think we'll probably get cauliflower later from this, which is so great. And a really good thing to remember is plant different varieties, especially when you're first starting, to figure out what you like. Do taste tests, do experiments. So I know now that I love the Snowball cauliflower. It's a little more traditional, bright white, fluffy, beautiful, big. We'll see about this Veronica. It hasn't gotten a cauliflower head yet. But the cheddar is cool. I haven't tasted them yet. That'll be tonight. But it's cool, but it's orange, and I don't know, it's just kind of messing with me. I don't really love the look of orange cauliflower. But the purple cauliflower is so cool and so bright purple that I would do that again. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, and here's another cauliflower I forgot about. It's called Flamestead. So there's that, and there's another one right there. That's Flamestead. And if you can compare, this is the Snowball right there. Okay, much more of a bright white. Again, there's another one, Snowball. It's looking really good and delicious. And then this is the Graffiti. Let's see, look at that color. Is that so cool? I think that's so cool. I would grow that again. Now let me show you the cheddar cauliflower. It's the biggest one by far, but it's got this bright orange. So let me show you side by side. There's the Snowball and the cheddar. This Snowball actually is probably the same size as that. But see that orange? It's kind of strange. I don't know. Okay, but this is the Veronica that has no, oh look! It is, look. It is starting. Do you see it? It is beginning to grow. So isn't that interesting? Look at that shape. Ooh, I can't wait till that grows. I'm gonna show you. So this is bok choy here. And then I have some Swiss chard over here, random 3 plants I found that I had to sneak in there. And then I just have some cauliflower seeds in here that are growing, that hopefully they come up before the end of the winter. Not really sure if we have time for that, but threw those in there. Here we have some bok choy, and it got a little nipped by, we've had a couple nights of freeze, but it's still doing great. We got down into the 31, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and so look how great that's doing. This is my bed where I just have leftover flowers from the spring that still looked good, and I'm just letting them flower. They'll probably come back in the spring. And then I have a few herbs over here on the side that I just planted today, that I found some pots that I forgot to put somewhere. And then over here, just have some cilantro tucked in this corner. It's kind of like this is kind of like my leftover bed where I throw things. Okay, so let's go over here. Now this bed is where I have all the Brussels sprouts. So this is my bed of Brussels sprouts. This in the summer had tomatoes. I had 8 plants of tomato, actually more than that. I probably had 12 tomato plants in this bed, and they weren't quite finished, but I was ready to put in Brussels sprouts. So I just popped those in between all the tomatoes, and then when those were done, took out the tomatoes, and these Brussels sprouts were ready to go. And now they're just flourishing. They're getting huge in the sun right here. And they're doing great. I'm actually getting little Brussels sprouts on the stems, on all of them. They're all doing really well. I'm just really hoping that we have enough time before it gets warm. So again, this is a little bit of an experiment. I'm not real familiar with Brussels sprouts, but it looks like I have about 5 or 6 different varieties here. Right here I have Falstead Red. It's a little smaller than this one. Right here is called Diablo. This one's much bigger, and it's forming a ton of Brussels sprouts. Okay, so right here I have a red Reuben, and I believe another red Reuben right here. I'm not sure why I did that catty corner, but this one's actually doing great. It's a beautiful purple and kind of a dusty mint green color, really pretty leaves, and it is actually forming Brussels sprouts along the stem there. And then this one is Nautic, and it's the same as this one. Really healthy stem. Not quite as tall as the Diablo, but really healthy and fat and forming a lot of Brussels sprouts over here. And then right here, I have Gustus. So 2 Gustus. This one also is really healthy. A ton of Brussels sprouts on these. Maybe this one's, I think I have 4 of the Gustus, and this one's probably forming the most Brussels sprouts of all of them. That's a tomato. Okay, so looking good. I love Brussels sprouts. Here, right in front of all the Brussels sprouts, I have popped in some seeds of lettuce. I actually popped in a ton of seeds, more than I needed, and this is because I wasn't sure. It was pretty cold by the time I did that. I wasn't sure how they were going to germinate, but I swear every single seed came up. And so what I did, this is Little Gem down here. This is Little Gem right here in the front, and then I have Marvel of 4 Seasons back here. It's kind of a red lettuce. It's super delicious. But what I did, it doesn't even look like it really, but I went in here and I took out more than half of all the lettuce, and I took them out and I planted them right over there, and I'll show you that in a minute, and right over here. So just did that last night, so they're looking a little sad over there, but I think they're gonna make it. But I just needed to add a little bit of room here so that they had room to breathe, they could all get nutrients. I'll probably have to go in and thin this one more time, but that's looking good. And then over here on the other side of the Brussels sprouts, I have more lettuce planted, but this one right here in the back is black seeded Simpson, and this one in the front is a Butter Crunch, and it didn't seed as well as the other ones, but to be honest, that's plenty. When these get big, like right here, this is actually going to be too close together, so I'm going to even have to probably thin some of these Butter Crunch, but like right here for sure I need to take some of that out. But yeah, that'll be another day. So excited to get some lettuce. I don't have any big lettuce yet. I've just been eating on the bok choy and the chard, and I do have some cabbage. So over here is where my cabbage is. I have a few different varieties here. I did have some little stinky animal, which it could have been my dogs, so I'm not real sure, ate the top off of this one. So that was sad, but these are looking great. Some of these are ready to pick here. This is actually a cauliflower right here, I think. Oh no, this is a broccoli right here. But anyways, the cabbage is doing great. Let me show you what varieties I have. Okay, so this one right here is an early Jersey, and unfortunately this is the one that my dog got a hold of, or possibly a raccoon. This one I have lost the tag on, which is so sad because this is actually beautiful. It's forming a really nice cone-shaped cabbage, and it's super healthy, so I'm really sad that I lost the tag on that one. Maybe it's buried. Maybe I'll dig around a little some more. And then this purple one right here is called Red Acre. It's beautiful. I would plant this throughout my flower beds and be really happy with how pretty that is. And then probably my best performer as far as cabbage goes is this Golden Acre. It's forming the more traditional, typical cabbage you'd see in the grocery store, and it looks great. This one's a little bigger than this one, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just got more nutrients here, I'm not really sure. This is right along the edge, so sometimes it doesn't have as much to pull from when it's right along the edge of the bed, but this one in the middle is doing great. I would definitely plant this again. Big success with this one. And then this curly guy over here is called Melissa Savoy, and it's doing great. I've never planted this one before. It's super curly and cool, but the heads of the cabbage aren't very big. I just think it needs more time. But that one has been really great too. Has a few yucky leaves down here at the bottom, but that's okay. Let's take those out. And then I have a couple more of the Melissa Savoy over here. Curly and cool, and these heads are forming a little better over here. They must get a little more morning sun. And the reason I'm getting this video done today is because this broccoli is starting to flower actually, so it is time to pick. But it is delicious. Broccoli from the garden is delicious if you've never had that, and it's forming little ones all along here. This is green sprouting calabrese. Let's see if it's the only one I have. I think that might be the same one right here, but for some reason it didn't form any broccoli on this. Maybe it just hasn't formed yet. But what's cool about this is it has little broccolis all over it. It's not just one big head, so that's interesting. This one is called broccoli solstice, and it has a great big head on it, just the more traditional one head right in the middle. I have a broccoli called green super, and I believe that this is probably my best performer. Great big head on it. It's not even actually real tall, which is kind of nice because it doesn't block off the light for everything else. It stayed pretty small, but a great big head of broccoli. I did have a broccoli right here called Waltman 29, and it never did anything. It started to grow for about a week and then just petered out. So that was not a success. Let's see what this one is back here. Okay, early purple sprouting. And I would not say it's early purple sprouting because there's nothing on it. Beautiful leaves, super healthy, but no broccoli. So maybe it means early spring sprouting? I don't know. Again, I planted all different varieties because this is my experiment year. I want to see what I want to plant here in Texas and what works the best for me. So, oh, the stem is right on the label. Okay, this is, oh, Waltham 29. So this is flowering, so it's time to pick this and get this in the house. Look at all of these little broccolis on it. That's so cool. So I will probably just cut off this big head and just leave it growing and let all these other ones get bigger. Oh, so good. So that's the broccoli. Let's see if there's anything else I want to show you. Oh, one more bed. Okay, so this bed over here is all kale. I had tomatoes growing in here. I had 8 plants. They weren't quite done. Again, I wanted to utilize the space and start getting things in the fall. And so I wanted the kale to get in before it got cold to give it a head start, the roots to start establishing. So I just popped a different kale in between every tomato plant. Then when the tomatoes were done, took out the tomatoes, and I already had these established kale plants, and now they're just getting huge. Sun can get to them, light can get to them. The nutrients is going more to the kale plants instead of the tomato plants now, so they are growing fast now. One thing that's cool is that I just figured out that I like curly kale. I didn't really know that there was a huge difference between the varieties of kale, but I have 9 different varieties in here, and I will tell you which ones are my favorite. I'm doing a video on that next, but I will just tell you right now that the curly kale is my favorite. And so, interesting though, I don't know why. I think the flat leaf kale is a little more bitter or something. I just like the curly kale is less bitter. I like that. So that's over here. Over here in this bed is where I have the transplants of my lettuce. I put them over here, give them a little more space. I have, right here I have a lavender. Oh, I have a lavender plant over here too. 2 different varieties, just to see which one I like more. And that's doing great, not flowering right now, but that's to be expected. It'll flower in the spring and the summer. And then I have just some leftover cabbages that I didn't get planted over here. The early Jersey Wakefield is maybe one of my biggest cabbages. That's over there.
yeah, so that's my garden this winter. I have a few other things to show you in the next video, including my soil test. I did a soil test on some pots, and that'll be in my next video. I want to show you the results are amazing. You want to know this, just to know what kind of soil is best in pots. So far, I have loved growing vegetables in the winter here in Texas. Again, I'm in a little north of Austin, Texas, and our winters, we do get some freezes. We've probably had about 8 freezes so far. That's below 32. Nothing into like, you know, like 25. I don't think it's even gotten that low, but so far I have not covered one thing in this garden in the winter, and I did that on purpose, but I wanted to see what I could do without covering, because to be honest, I think that's a pain in the rear when it's gonna freeze and you're so cold and you have to go out to the garden and cover things. So I wanted to see what things would last through the freezes, and so far everything here has done great through the freeze. I mean, other than of course tomato plants were toast. Even the strawberries I don't cover, they're doing fine through the freezes. Yeah, so that's my winter garden. Thank you so much for watching. I'll have a few more videos out this week, and one of the ones that I want to show you are my different varieties of kale and explain what I like and what I don't like. I'll share with you a few of my fun recipes with these greens and how I like to cook in the winter. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.